Heidi ho, everyone, and welcome aboard. It is Thursday already. How did that happen? The week's gone that way. Not sure which way you can see, but that's the way it goes. Fast and furious. It's amazing, is it not? Welcome to Marlon today, who's in control of us. So if we disappear at some stage, blame Marlon. It's not my fault, right? Welcome aboard, everyone. I see everyone piling into the room. It's wonderful to see you here, as always. Let's get stuck in, shall we, for this Thursday. We will, of course, as always, be joined by Ash very, very shortly. And, of course, we do have a quiz later in the show as well. I can see some new people in the room. Welcome to you. Agnes, welcome to you. Missed a few names. Makeson, is it Makeson? Welcome to you. And of course, all our usual people. Gary, John, Lewis, Swee, Paul P. How are we all doing? Hope it's been a good day for you thus far. Okay, let's get stuck in, as I said. I said get stuck in, and we didn't get stuck in. We're going to start with the pound. And pound versus the US dollar is our breakout trade. Out of both the pound trades, I think we managed that one pretty well and trailed our stops pretty tight after we got up around this area somewhere. And as you can see from this chart, it disappeared pretty quickly once it did, and very happy to have taken some profit out of that. I will cheers, John. And g'day, Lewis. Yeah. Dollar CAD. Bad boy. I managed that very, very poorly and not by my rules. And I'll go through that a little bit later. For those of you who got into that, so gee, I hope you did manage it the way you should have rather than the way I did. Watching for Aussie Kiwi reversal takes. Yes, absolutely, Swee. I'm still waiting myself. Interesting, because the Aussie news today was, well, mixed, but better than I had anticipated. Actually, I thought the unemployment rate would be far worse, than it was. It improved, in fact, from last week. And that trend of, I'm just looking for that news now to get the number right, 4.5%. That can't be right. Yes, it was 4.5%. And lower than the previous, and that trend, that downward trend of the unemployment rate continues for the Aussie. We'll probably talk about that a little bit later as well. But whilst we're about the pound versus the US dollar, I see a range, guys. I see a range. I see that as the height of the range, and I see that as the bottom of the range. We're only talking the last couple of days, really, and that's pretty much what I see. So, for that reason, this is the old trade. We won't be trading that. I love the fact that we're in the middle of that range as well. It means there's plenty of room for noise in here before the big guys actually step into action and maybe drive it whichever way they're going to drive it, if indeed they do. So I'm going to place a breakout trade. Those of you here for the first time, welcome again. It's great to have you on board, and I hope you get something from the show. This particular scenario is a breakout trade, and it is designed to catch the breakout of whatever the range was over the past 24-hour plus today period, if it is indeed a range. If it's not a range and it is in trend, we don't want to know about that. We only want to break the range. So we planned this for UK Open, and that is now open. So let's get it in the market, shall we? It is a one cancels other trade, so OCO trade. We get triggered into the long, we cancel the short, and we get triggered into the short, we cancel the long. But let's get it in the market, shall we? The level that we're going in at short will be 1.3788. Let me get rid of this, because it's wrong. So I'll just get rid of that in its entirety and come back to it. What keyboard? You see, 1.3788, I'm pretty sure, is the number that now, again, those of you who are here for the first time, this is in test mode. it is not a proven strategy. So for that reason, you should not follow this trade, or if you are going to, you can follow it, but if you are going to trade this trade, you need to consider that it is not a proven system. So you need to go in very, 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 very light, or not at all. I'm only going in at 0.05 of one lot, right? That's what I think of it. And the entry level was 1.3788 from memory. Yes, it is a good memory. I remember. I remind the elephant, right? Only sometimes. Hello, buddy. You got a trade.
Mate, there's a trade potential on the Ftse, and it is.
We'll go to you first then.
Okay, all right, fantastic. Let me set my my trades up here. Hold on a second.
Now, unlike my pound US dollar breakout trade, those of you who are new and here for the first time, this will be a serious trade. So you can follow that at the risk level that Ash will tell you.
Yes, you can indeed. Okay. Right. Actually, we got a bit of time because it's coming down. So this is good. This is good. That's all right. Double checking it. It's okay.
I'll just voice the stop loss for the short whilst we're here. For the breakout trade, 1.3858 will be the stop loss for the short. Will also be the entry for the long. So those of you who want to follow the trade, 1.3788 is the short entry and stop loss for the long. 1.3858 is the reverse, the stop loss for the short and the entry for the long. Okay, and it doesn't like what I just put in there. Sorry, mate, where you go?
Well, I was going to say, I'm hold on, let's make sure that this is on the right chart there. I'm not sure now how I am going to I'm going to talk you through this one because the initial signal was pretty good, but it's okay. Still looking for the long here. This is probably the bounce point. It's probably going to bounce up here. Now, if that's to happen, the long is actually above this bar. The long is just above this bar here. So 70-40, something like that. So you see the bounce coming in. So what we're after here is for this to actually give us a genuine reversal bar. I wouldn't suggest coming in here. I don't think it's necessary. Does look like we're going to get a bounce. I'm not too worried about the downside here. So it looks like we should get a bounce in this area, and that's starting to happen. So this is starting to go up. Now this is a 15-minute chart. So let me just check the 5. Let's just check the 5 off. Might need to take it on the 5 actually. Might need to take it on the 5. Let's just double check so you see what this bar ends up looking like. But if this is a really bullish bar, what we're going to be doing is going in at the highs, just up here, and we're going to put a stop loss at the lows. So we got a couple more seconds. We've got about 30 seconds to check what the bar looks like. Now, if the bar does not give us a bullish reversal bar, we won't take it. But if it does, this looks okay. If it looks anything like this, it's going to qualify. So get ready to pull the trigger, guys. I mean, you got around about a 14, maybe a 15 pip stop loss on that. Looks pretty good. Probably going to go up to the trend line. So we're looking probably for around about a 1-to-1 here. Here we go. Right, that's bar's good enough. So we're going to buy here, and we're going to look for profit to get to around about here, and with a stop loss at the lows. Now, what we can do, I'm going to switch to my futures. Switch over to futures here, and I'm going to put in my, so you can see my trade is live there. I'm going to put my my pivots in. There we go. It's held the pivot, which is really good. That's a really positive sign. Nice bar, and it might be that we're waiting for another 2 sessions. We might be looking for another 2 5-minute bars before this actually goes up, which is okay. Now let's see if we can figure out where we're going to take profit. It's probably these highs up here, but let's figure out if there's anywhere better. So I'm going to switch to my daily, and I'm just going to make this clean again. There we go. Now, this trend, I'm just going to see where this trend line's come from. That's an old level. I still quite like this. I mean, it's dissecting through quite a bit of price here, but I still quite like it. So I'm going to leave that there. But we won't use it because it could start to it gets a bit scruffy in a few areas, but I quite like it here. It tucks in nicely there. And if you can see that, you guys can see that. All right, I'm just going to blow my chart up. Tucks in quite nicely here. It tucks in quite nicely here. It's a little bit off there. It's probably could do with a little bit of tightening up actually. So let's just tighten it up a little bit. It's probably about there. That looks like a better point for the trend line. You can see that there's near touches. So that could be a target. Now, this is where you start to kind of think about your particular appetite. I'm after a smash and grab, so I'm not going to mess about with this. I'm going to take profit at first contact. So I'm just going to look for first contact. But anybody that wants to stay in the trade longer, then you do have a little bit further to run on your one. Now, your chart will look the same, but your numbers will be different because if you're trading the UK 100, that's going to look different to the futures, and I trade futures, even though it costs me more money. And I don't know why I do it, Jeff, because the spread on the futures is about another pip, and the amount of times that
you just love furnishing the brokers with
do you know what it is, mate? It's because I don't because of the way I trade, and I don't want to sort of like I was going to say I don't use stop losses, which I don't, but I kind of there's a different way that I will use risk. So don't think that all of a sudden you don't have to use stop losses. So I'll risk in a different way, but I don't put sort of like these manual stop losses in. But because of that, it might spill over to the next day. And when it spills over to the next day, you don't pay any more on the futures. You don't have to pay swaps.
Yeah, no swaps. Yep.
There's no swaps. You're just holding the position. But if you trade on the cash, then you do pay the swaps. And you know, if I'm in a position that you know I've got to manage for, let's say, a few weeks, which is rare, but it does happen, then I don't want to pay a load of swaps. And I think it's because it's migrated from an old way that I was trading where I was holding positions, but I do tend to get in and out, you know, these days. So I should recalculate this really, because I'm paying at least an extra pip a day on costs. And when you think I'm really only aiming for 10, you know, on the whole, then it's starting to I'm starting to question whether it's worth it. Anyway,
you don't hold too many positions long, do you, or for a long period?
I don't tend to, mate. It's only if I was to buy this, and because I wouldn't use the stop loss. So if I buy this and it goes against me, and I've either got to go in again or I hedge, then both positions could be open for some time. You know, while I kind of sort it out. So so that's what it is. As I say, it is rare, but it does happen. I mean, even you know, in the last month, it's happened 2 or 3 times. So it is kind of, for me, it's still worth it. And I have to say, it takes the stress off for me, knowing that the account isn't kind of getting edged away without me knowing, because I don't know, I don't even know how they calculate the swap sometimes. So one day it might be, you know what I mean? It's just like, going to charge me $10.
I do know what you mean.
So
it's a joke. I mean, it used to be a cut and dried formula. You know, if there was an interest rate differential on the pair that you're trading, and if the interest rate differential was with the way you were trading, in other words, if you're going long, let's say Kiwi yen, and Kiwi is long Kiwi yen, then you should have positive swaps.
Yes, absolutely.
That's not the way it used to be. That's not the way it isn't anymore. Don't ask me the formula. I've got no idea, but guaranteed it's not in your favor. No,
it absolutely won't be. I'm just working out the profit level here, mate. Now I don't know whether that's going to be it there. Let me see if that's enough. I don't think that's a significant first contact point, but I'm just going to put it in and just have a quick look at it. No, there's nothing on the daily which would suggest that that's significant. I don't think there's enough on there either. So I'm going to put my take profit level on this trend line. Now you will be looking on your UK 100 and you'll have this. You have exactly the same thing. So your profit line will be around about 55, between 50 and 55, but mine's going to be lower. So I'm going to go with, mine's going to be different to yours. So my first contact is here, and as soon as I put this in play, then I will ignore it, so we can get back on with education and all that stuff. So let me just put this here, mate, and see what we got. Yeah, that looks like I've got enough room there to come down. That's at 70.21, so yeah, that's okay. All right, let me just double check that level there. 70.21. I've got another account that I've got to fix up as well, because these multiple accounts can kind of get you a bit. 71.
Yes, they can drive me nuts.
Yeah, I mean, it's do you know what? I've got another account which is it's not on MT4, but it's really so you don't have the chart. But what's really good about it is it kind of tells you the percentage. You know, it tells you your percentage loss and gain on the pips. It does it for you, so you don't have to go to baby pips or use Trade Manager and all this sort of thing. It just tells you, which I quite like. You know what? I'm going to move this down a little bit actually, because this looks like a false break. So I'm just going to move it down to 70.18 there. Just going to move it there instead. And as long as I get my 10, I'm quite happy with that. Now, as I say, this could go further. The market sentiment looks good today. That's not my strategy, and I don't care. So all I want to do is make my money, and as long as I get my 10, which I'll just about qualifies if it does take that profit there, then I'm more than happy to do that. So we can now move on, mate. So now, interestingly, I've been looking at the, I don't know, what were you talking about before I rudely interrupted you, mate?
No, I don't know. No, it would have been the pound dollar breakout trade, I think. I was just giving levels.
Do you know what? Yeah, I think it's well worth talking about the dollar. I had Ainsley in yesterday, and we were talking about gold, and we were discussing sort of, you know, what we would do with gold, and we were both kind of this opinion that we should be looking for the long position with gold. And I was so close to trading it yesterday, and then I had to remind myself, well, I don't really trade gold, so let's not get too cute on this. So I avoided it. Unfortunately, I did, because look at what's happened to gold really ever since.
I've got a long order in place that I'll probably cancel now. It's tanking, isn't it?
Yeah, it is tanking, mate. Yeah, it is tanking, but we've still got the chance that this does. Lewis was talking about this yesterday.
You know, I'm a seasoned gold trader now. Been doing.
Yeah, let's see how long that lasts.
Been doing it for a week. I haven't entered the market yet.
Before you're spitting feathers about gold again. So we got this inverted head and shoulders. Now Lewis was talking about 1750. Is that right, Lewis? We were talking about yesterday in the buddy show. I think we were talking about 1750, which kind of does lead us. I mean, this is a great level. Look at that. I mean, this is where we'd want to see it bounce. Actually, it's 1762 on the futures. But if that did get some kind of bounce in this kind of area here, then I think that's more of a green light. I never really liked that.
Hasn't got through that level it's at right now yet. That's also a fairly strong level.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah, you're absolutely right. I'd go with you on that. I suppose because my eye is always drawn to the inverted head and shoulders, that this is the one for me. And well,
you remember early in the week we were looking at, I think it was all the Aussie pairs and maybe the Kiwi pairs as well, from my memory. And we had left shoulders and heads, and we were looking for right shoulders to form. This is now in the same category. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. It looks pretty good, doesn't it? So what I'd want to see on this one, I'd actually I think it's almost starting to look a bit clearer to trade. I like this trend line here. And if I go back to the dailies, what I'd like to see is it start coming down again, form some sort of low. Ooh, where are we at? Form some sort of low in this area down here, and while kind of meeting this trend line, break through it, if I could see it break through from that right shoulder, somewhere around there, I guess, and then come back. I mean, it's not going to be obviously 3 bars, but then come back. Then you're still picking it up around the right shoulder, and then you've got. I think you'd have a lot of room then for this neckline to be broken before you need to kind of do anything with it with any kind of profit line, because you know there's going to be a whole bunch of profit between this point and this point if that was to get up there. So that's what I'd quite like to see if that was to, if that could happen. That would be. I mean, I don't even know whether I'd take profit there, but you could really make that. You could make that so safe, that trade. And I don't think that there would be that much between entry and stop loss, but something like that where it's actually proven that it's turning around would be great. I mean, as I say, you might be right. It might hold here and then it kind of negates, you know, everything that I'd want to look for. But if I got something like that, that would look pretty clean to me.
Well, my long is above your second touch on that descending or resistance trend line. I'm above that red bar.
You're above the red bar. What, this one here?
No, no, that's a pretend one. That one.
This one here, yeah. Pretend I see, yeah, on the real one. Yeah, yeah.
So really what that gives me, if you have a look, that's a breakout and retest of that little range that's in there, the 5 previous days.
Yeah, they say, yes, I see what you mean. Yeah.
To fail break. So my contention would be, if it goes there again, they will probably drive it higher.
Yes, yes. The dollar is the key here, isn't it? I mean, I'm looking at the dollar. I was looking at the dollar earlier. Lovely little trade on the euro, on the dollar Swissy. I don't know if you've sort of like seen this, but nice trade on the dollar Swissy today. This is starting to build again. Inverted head and shoulders. So you know we're getting our pattern here. There's a left shoulder there. Make it the same color as last time. Left shoulder there. There's the head. There's the right shoulder there. Here's your neckline, just along there.
Mate, I'll interrupt you for 2 secs. I do have an order that may well trigger in the next 2 seconds, so maybe 5 seconds. Go
for it, mate. Go for it. Lloyd's
right.
In the room. How you doing, Lloyd? Anybody bought into natural gas? Absolutely smashed since I last called it on the show. On the other hand, XAG didn't fare so well. Still good as a lagging pair to trade in contrast to the XAU. Okay, we'll have a look at that in a moment, Lloyd. That's really cool. I think there seems to be some interest among the group about natural gas. Let's talk about your chart though.
Crikey, I've only just started trading gold. Now I'm natural gas.
Yeah, I know.
Natural gas is what you get after eating baked beans, isn't it? Okay. So there's the order on euro pound. I've got a sell order. Now, look, this is, I'm not saying it's wildly speculative, but it is speculative. And the reason it's a little bit off kilter, I'll put it that way, is because we do have a reversal pattern here, which is this tweeze bottom sitting here. But what is the overriding factor is the question. And I've got a clear false break of this resistance trend line. So I don't know that we'll get past this red line, which is 85, the figure. But if we don't, we've got some money in the bank beforehand because our TP1 is right about here. So we're bang on entry at the moment. Just entered the trade and it is a euro pound sell. There are the numbers that I'm using. Those of you who are trading for the first time and want to follow that, what I do is take first profit at or before on these bigger time frames, at or before a support or resistance level. This one's obvious, so I'm taking my profit just around about here. And I close 50% and move my stop loss, whatever I take at TP1, which in this case is 14 pips. I'll move my stop 14 pips above the entry level. So if we're fortunate enough to get TP1, that makes it a free trade.
I like that, mate.
Pound.
I like that, and we got Christine Lagarde today, right? I mean, this is a good market today. Yesterday was awful. It was like watching paint dry. I struggled yesterday to make money, and I made such a measly amount. It was no point in me sitting in front of the charts all day. But you know, I kind of, I'm here to try and make money, and I did try and make money, but it was tough. But today, volatility. Hello, we're back again, and we got retail sales from the United States later on, and we've got Christine Lagarde later, and it appears right now that there seems to be some kind of idea that she could say something negative. I don't know why that's the reason that the market seems to be favouring pairs against the euro, but the euro's definitely got some weakness today, and what a great setup you got there as well. I really like that one.
Looks okay. The only thing, as I said, concerns me is this little tweezer bottom sitting here, which is at the end of the day a higher low based on this potential reversal. But I'm
is that
expecting
not where you take profit?
Where? Here? Yes.
Yeah.
Totally.
Yeah. So I mean, when you say concerns you mean that it could come back again from there?
Well, it may not even reach there.
Right.
I mean, that potentially is a swing, right? So it may not even reach there. And that's the concern with the trade. That's the only concern I've got with the trade. Otherwise, I'm pretty comfortable with it.
Yeah, because yesterday's bar. I mean, yesterday's bar does suggest that there's enough in the tank to continue to move down, doesn't it?
It does, but again, here's the secondary issue, if you like. It is the top of this channel that we've only just not that long ago. When I say not that long ago, this is a weekly chart, so it's a month old. So the potential for this to bounce that way is certainly there.
Yeah.
Our profit level is before that break, so that should be okay.
Yeah.
But I can make a case for a long here, no question.
Yeah.
Can definitely make a case.
I suppose it's one of those that there's the case for the long is because of the area, but not necessarily because of the signal.
Correct. 100%. So that's why I'm just a little bit cautious on this. And if I do get a higher low here on maybe a 4-hour chart, I will probably look to bail out of this if we get up to above the pivots, for instance, because they're a bit of an issue as well. If we get above them, at the moment, they're strong resistance. I think it's okay. I might as well, whilst we're here, tell you about the others that I've
update on the Ftse Trade, mate. We've just taken profit on the Ftse Trade, so I don't know if everybody else has managed to get into that and you've taken profit. Well done. If you're holding on to the position, I think that's okay too, because it looks like there's enough momentum right now in the market. Got to be careful about some of the data, which we'll talk about later on, but the Ftse Trade is closed and we've made some money on a Thursday morning at the end of the week.
Awesome, good man. Righto, Aussie Yen. Now you all,
well done, John.
And we spoke about this earlier, right? We spoke about we had left shoulders, we had heads. The only thing we were waiting for on particularly the Aussie pairs was a right shoulder, which to my mind formed yesterday. Now, Ash, I know you like to trade right shoulders. I'm not really trading that per se, but I guess I am at the end of the day. On a 4-hour chart, I've got the reversal bar that we like. It's a red bar, would have ended there had I been in front of the charts. But I also see exactly the same scenario on the daily, and the daily is giving me that level that we like. It does appear to be a right shoulder. It is certainly a higher low based on the higher low situation. So it's your first higher low, if you like. So therefore, I think that's a reasonable position to take long. It's got a nice red body. Now, I traded this similar to, and I was going to go into the US dollar CAD scenario, and I don't know that we've got that much time to do that, but I will. I'll do that first. Now, dollar CAD, right? Gave you guys this order, I think, on Monday. Might have been on Monday. And what we're looking for on dollar CAD was a short based on this bar here. We got into the market, and then we got the US dollar CPI figures coming out. I think it was the CPI figures coming out. Now, two things, and I think I said this on Monday, either don't trade it or be very, very careful around it. Now, my rule is that if I don't get TP1, which is here, right, on my first attempt, and I miss it by 1-2 pips, something like that, I move my stops immediately to entry, which I did not do. Now, this is like midnight to me, but I was awake and I should have done what my rules state. I didn't, and my stop loss was about there, 5 pips away from where it spiked to on the news. And then we've gone straight back into exactly what we saw in the first place. Now, dollar CAD has now given me a potential false break of not only the weekly pivot, the daily pivot, the monthly pivot, but a resistance trade line that's showing me it doesn't want to go above that level. It's come back, and now it's retesting that and giving me a rejection bar on the pivots at a confluence area. So I'm going to have to get back into that on the 4-hour chart in an hour and a half, if this candle looks like that. I'd prefer it to get back up and take out the pivots, but if it doesn't, that's fine. I'll still look to trade it short. We have
that's a tough one, mate. That is a tough chart. That's the
problem,
isn't it?
It was pretty easy to me, but I fudged it. I was about to say something else, but I shouldn't do that.
Do you know the thing with do you know what my major problem actually with something like this is the fact that the dollar is starting to kind of like, it seems to be getting a bit of a foothold. We did see a couple of days ago, we saw some inflation data which was weaker than expected. So that kind of has helped boost the dollar. And of course, we know the story with oil, which is boosting the CAD. So this is the chart for almost is expressing it, isn't it? That we just got this kind of squeeze going on, and a bit of a battle.
Yeah, absolutely. The cool part is, I suppose, it is giving me what I look for every single time. When I've got a triangle, I look for a false break off either end, right?
Right.
And that's exactly what I've been dished up here.
Yeah.
Now, if I can get in here, I'll take profit at or before the trend line.
Yeah.
Just in case it bounces again. So to my mind, that's there's no such thing as a risk-free trade, but that looks really, really interesting to me. You know, if I can risk, let's say 20 odd pips and get out at 12-ish, 10 or 12-ish.
Yeah.
That works for me.
Yeah.
That works for me.
Makes sense.
And then if it breaks through, then we're probably back down here somewhere and forming a right shoulder again. There's that many potential inverted head and shoulders at the moment. It's crazy.
Yeah, there is. Yeah, there's a lot going on actually right now with the market.
It's absolutely crazy. But as always, there's an opposite and sometimes equal story to the other side, and this looks to have already turned around. So maybe that's the right shoulder, and we've got a higher high, higher low, higher high, higher low. So maybe this is already gone.
Yeah, that's a tricky one. I mean, as I say, the fundamentals are one of the problems with this one. The chart is almost expressing what the fundamentals are also suggesting as well. Another little inverted shoulders there, isn't there?
Look, totally. Look at that.
Yeah.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 days on the monthly pivot.
Yeah,
and it's going nowhere. So
it's just jammed.
You're right. It is a tough chart.
Yeah,
100%. Aussie Yen. Did I tell you about Aussie Yen? Yes, I did.
No, but we should talk about the Aussie Yen, because the Aussie Yen is obviously one of the better expressions of risk off, and we've seen the yen. It's had some joy recently. The Aussie's in a bit of trouble, isn't it? I think we're both waiting for the Aussie to turn around, which it will do eventually. GDP is going to get hit. No question. We've had. Actually,
yep.
I was thinking about the Australian dollar and how Australia's economy is unraveling a little bit, because we've got this lockdown situation. But forgetting that, some of the numbers from China, I think they must be getting a bit concerning. And you sort of you consider the relationship between Australia and China, and you think, how much is that going to impact their GDP kind of going forward?
Well, I haven't seen those numbers. Are they really bad?
There's a significant slowdown. Yeah, there's a significant slowdown. It's almost kind of like suggesting that the kind of emerging market tag that China's enjoyed for so long is well and truly over, and we're kind of now starting to look at a mature economy. I know it's not quite like that. There's nuances to this. But there's enough of a slowdown in China to suggest that Australia could well get hit from the back of that, as will the euro, as will, because Germany imports so many things from China as well. So there's the whole world is going to get affected. But Australia being such close neighbours, that doesn't help, considering we just had this lockdown situation there as well.
Yeah, interesting numbers out of Australia today with the employment figures coming out.
Yeah.
The trend on the unemployment rate continued to fall.
Yeah.
Yet the employment numbers in terms of people employed in that period, and I think that was a monthly period, if I'm not wrong, might have been quarter. I think it's monthly.
Monthly it was.
So 146,000 less jobs created. I think that's what that means. So that's not great. But the unemployment rate is impressive. So it depends on what they're going to read into that, what the market reads into that. If the unemployment rate is the number that they concentrate on, then the Aussie has got some form of, let's say, short-term positivity about it. Because other than, and I know I keep fighting this, and maybe I shouldn't, I keep fighting this COVID story because it is temporary. The numbers will go down, I don't know, maybe, where are we, September? So the figures, GDP, you're right, as I said, when the last GDP figure was released, that'll be shocking. There's no question. The next one. So the September quarter will be SH1T, there's no question. But coming out of that, and I don't know how forward-thinking the market is, I just believe that when the market recognizes that this is a temporary situation, because the numbers of vaccinations has just gone unbelievable at the moment. I think somebody asked me the other day what the figures were, and they were like 37% in New South Wales were fully vaxxed. It's now climbed to about 50 something in a very short period of time. Well, and we're now up above 70 odd percent with first. So that's going to change quickly.
Yes, it is, mate. And just to your point on how far the market will look, it'll look 12 to 18 months out. So if it's kind of looking 12 to 18 months out, then you're right. There's going to be a point you kind of want that GDP number to come out. It draw all the retail traders in that think they're trading that number rather than the anticipation of the number, and then it triggers along. There's a potential for that kind of thing to happen, is that people focus on the GDP number, the actual number, rather than the assumption of the number. So, I think
the market itself is now well prepared for that number.
Yeah,
so
I think you're right.
That number is going to be priced in 100%.
I think you're right. And there's a trend line coming down there from what I can see from, is that June? There's a trend line there that looks like it's around about that right shoulder as well, which I really like. That kind of, yes, you can go from there probably, actually. Maybe not quite. I would have gone down from the next, possibly there, but the one before that, the one in between the two. Yeah, there. I quite like that. And that now is kind of like that inverted head and shoulders is testing a trend line. That's my favorite type of pattern. I think that's usually a pretty secure level, and you're also picking it up on a pretty nice low if it comes up and makes the rest of the pattern happen. Looks like it's going to take a little while to get there, but I'm liking that, mate. I like the Aussie Yen. I like the Australian dollar, but when we needed this bad news to come out to give us an opportunity, and we've been talking about the opportunity for the last 6 months. So I think it's going to be something that I'll be with you on if you take it. Just having a look in the chat room, mate. We've got Lloyd, who is babysitting. It sounds like
is that a real baby? Or I thought he was talking about like a pup or something.
No,
is that a real baby?
Yeah, it is a real baby. He's babysitting, and
Like one that shits itself and wants food all the time.
well,
One of them.
it sounds like he's trying to find different ways of harming himself, and Lloyd's trying to figure out how to stop that happening. I know what that's like. John, no, he's not a daddy. He's stepped in for babysitting duties. John took 10 pips on the FTSE, which is fantastic. Lewis, Aussie Yen based on the chart. He feels that there is still some room to fall. Okay, maybe 78.70 to the 80 level. Where does that lead us to, Jeff? Oh, wow, really?
Okay, what do we got? Weekly chart. So you're looking at this level. Yeah, okay.
Okay, all right. We'll better look out for that then. I'll tell you the
about there somewhere.
Do you know where are you in this trade, Jeff? What's the red line? Is that your entry?
That's my stop loss.
Your stop loss. The stop loss area looks like a pretty good horizontal level to me too.
Yeah, my entry's here.
Yeah,
above the swing and above the reversal bar.
Yeah.
So the stop loss level, did you say?
Yeah, it looks like a pretty good horizontal level. You know, it's kind of going back there. Yeah, I quite like that. Okay, but fair enough. All right, we'll watch out for that for Lloyd then as well. So for Lewis, we're moving from pandemic stage to endemic stage. That's for sure. Need to give the Aussie more kangaroo boost, says Swee. We know it's a real baby. Lewis asking when Lloyd's had a baby. He hasn't had a baby. Okay, so the weekly chart. Oh, on the weekly chart. Okay, mate. Well, I don't know where you're at, but I'm just aware of time. We got so many more things that I'd love to talk about, but we are only around for another 25 minutes or so, and we've got to get to the quiz.
Yeah, no, look, I'm pretty much done. I just wanted to show you my gold, and look, guys, those of you who are in the room for the first time, I've never traded gold, right? I'm now a seasoned veteran of 1 week. And I've not entered the market yet. I've put 3 orders in the market and none of them have triggered. So yeah, I'm now a gold trader, but I've no qualifications at all. Yeah. But I'm trading a double cross on the weekly pivot, which I love double crosses. This might be a nice little bounce point off this support trade line. But here's the big thing. If we break here and hit the monthly pivot, then come back above that confluence area, horizontal level and trend line, then I will definitely move my entry down to here and put a stop down here somewhere. So look for that. If that comes down to here, then finds its way back above that 1787 level, then retests it, then I'll be looking for that as well.
I'm just I'm continuously trying to ascertain what is going to drive the dollar lower and gold to the upside. And COT data at this stage isn't suggesting we should buy gold. Seasonals are, but there's just, it's a sticky one. Do you know, gold's, I think, is going to catch us all off guard. And
chart, mate, chart's a chart.
A chart's a chart, yeah, I'll go with that, and there's probably enough time to get involved if it gives us what we want. Okay, all right, we'll go with that. Then we'll just stick with it.
Yeah, look, if I'm wrong, then gold's probably going to go down here, and I don't really care. Yeah. But if I'm right and they get back above this pivot, I think we'll definitely go to here. So
yeah,
that's my analysis.
Hold to 10,000. Lewis asking, would I trade the FTSE short from here? I wouldn't, but is there a short? Yeah, there probably is. I mean, there's, you're on resistance, but I wouldn't trade it because firstly, I like to make my money and be done and not think about anything else. I'll go and enjoy the rest of my day now. And secondly, because there is more chance of the FTSE getting stuck than reversing the overall kind of momentum. The momentum is definitely still relatively long. We can definitely, and this is one thing actually, we are going to get to the quiz, but if there's anybody who wants to talk about any fundamentals that we've got due today, we've got ECB President Lagarde speaking at 1 p.m. And if you want to talk about how that will move the market, we can. We got retail sales and Philly manufacturing index and unemployment claims from the United States. So if anybody wants us to kind of touch on that, then let us know, because there we go. because I'm quite happy to talk about all those subjects first before we do the quiz, touch on them. But if nobody's too concerned and nobody's going to be trading around those numbers, then let's get on with a quiz. Paul P saying the Trading Baby Show, which is Lloyd's show. So
Manx and Agnes, you're two of the people I've seen in here for the first time today. Welcome to you. I don't know if you're in yesterday because I wasn't here. But the parameters around this show are extremely loose, as I'm sure you've now witnessed, because you've been here from the get-go. But please feel free at any stage to pipe up, throw your hand up, do whatever you like. This is more about you guys than it is about us, and we'd much rather hear your ideas than ours. So happy days.
Absolutely.
Thank you, Agnes.
Welcome to you both. I recognise Agnes from the weekend, actually. So great to have you on board as well. Very new. Oh, it's okay. It's all right. Do you know what? It's a free show, so just keep watching and you'll pick up the rhythm of what we do. But you are welcome to come on mic or camera at any point, as is everybody in the room. You know, it's a trading buddies show. We're all buddies in the room together, sharing ideas. So if there's anything you want to come on mic about, oh, there's Agnes there.
There you go. Hello.
Anything you want to talk about, Agnes?
Yes, can I talk?
Yeah, of course.
You are talking.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm quite handicapped in the sense that because when I learned from the IFP and regarding that, in order to come into the right trade, you need to know the trend like horizontal bar, like weekly pivot, and the bounce and break, and all these things. And I don't know how to gauge what is the master candle. Then after that, I put plus spread. After that, I don't know how to put the at the price, and after that the I think the difference between at the current the current price market and stop loss, and also take profit. Like, of course it depends, you want to buy long or sell short, so I'm quite handicapped in the area now.
Okay, all right, it sounds like quite a few questions now.
Yep.
I think what we can't do is disclose the strategy on air here, because it's on YouTube and it's going to be a freebie. But are you around next week as well, Agnes?
Yes, I have registered all the Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday morning, which is by the Wave Rider radio, and also the orientation for every Tuesday night.
Great.
Yes, and also plus is that wherever in the morning, which Paul Hunton has actually advised us to trade on what, and I'll just go do accordingly what he advised. But on my personal is that I need to understand how to see what is the horizontal bar and what is the actual to trade in. So this is something that I need to really know how to discover.
No problem. Okay, so only because we've got only 15 minutes left in this show, it's going to be tough to get to that and the quiz as well. So what we will do is do the coaching next week with Paul PH, and if you are still struggling next Thursday, then post it in straight away. So the first thing to do, or even on Monday, if you come and join us on Monday, actually post it straight in on Monday. And Jeff and I will talk you through some of the things that you can look for on Monday. So we will get to it early. How about that? Is that okay?
Yes, it's okay.
Fantastic. Okay, is that all right with you, Jeff?
Yes, indeed. If I could just add, Agnes, that I would highly recommend that you don't look at every single one of those things that you've just mentioned as a thing you need to understand instantly, because it takes quite some time to get the big picture, if you like.
Yeah.
Okay.
What I would highly recommend is, you've learned the daily wave rider, right? You've been in front of that.
Yes.
Stick with that until you learn that, and you've got no issues with it at all, and you understand the process and you understand the strategy, why it does what it does, and how you can.
I think I think all the questions are related to that, actually, mate. I think Agnes is struggling with all the little minutiae that's part of the strategy. I think that's what you're saying, Agnes, right?
Yes, that's right, sir.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
sorry, I read you wrong.
That's okay.
because
I
you-
mean, let's get to it. Let's get to it on Monday, and I'll give you a little
Yeah.
walkthrough. I've got to be careful how we deal with this because, as I say, this is on public in a public domain.
Sure.
So I will figure it out. But if it turns out that that you need some extra help, then I will figure out how to get you that there. Okay, look, Lloyd is saying, Agnes, every Tuesday and Saturday at 7, there's a Wave Rider specific help desk conducted by Dominic. Okay, so that's another way round. On Monday, remind us, and I'll give you a couple of tips. And on Tuesday, Lloyd is telling us that there's on Saturday at 7 p.m. So actually, this Saturday at 7, you've got a Wave Rider specific help desk with Dominic.
Okay, sure, noted.
All right, brilliant stuff.
Thank you,
Thanks for
Lloyd.
coming on, though, Agnes. We are a Trading Buddy show, and it's great to have you on board.
Okay, I'm eager to grow in this industry.
Brilliant.
Awesome.
Yeah, brilliant. Well, that's what we're all here for, and to help each other out with it.
Thank you.
Right, it is now quiz
Dale.
time.
Ash will give you his brief ideas on the NASDAQ just before we close, okay? After the
Sure.
quiz.
No problem.
Thank
Who's
you.
asking for that? Who's asking for that?
Dale's on YouTube asking that question.
Oh,
so
fine. Okay, yeah,
I'm
we'll talk
just
about the
addressing
NASDAQ. No problem. Okay, so we're going to go to John now. Where is John? John, are you there? There he is.
Yeah.
How you doing, buddy?
Hey, I'm on the mend. It's like physio every single day. See the doctor 3 times a week. It's brilliant.
Okay. Sorry, we've pushed you into a bit of a corner here for time, mate.
Hey, no, it's cool. I remember when I joined on the Wave Rider 18 months ago, and it was about as clear as mud. And Jeff gave me that advice early on as well. But it does work in the end. You just got to stick with the guides.
Trading's like that, isn't it?
Right. I've got to do it. I've got to try it again. I've got to try and do the share the screen.
Okay, share the screen. Lewis is asking how's the shoulder, and it sounds like it's better.
Is it any better? Most of the motion's okay.
Oh, that's pretty good, mate.
Lifting my arm up above my head.
You will be down. You'll be in the boxing ring soon. Taking on Evander Holyfield.
I've got more chance of fighting with seagulls on the beach in Brighton this afternoon.
Oh, they're vicious. They are.
Let me get my. So okay. This is.
who am I going to send my answers to
Hey, look, a
today?
little bit more pro now. I've got everybody's face in, and I've got the chat, so I've got it a little bit better organised. Okay. Hot news.
Hot news. Oh, look at that. Is this a new? You're always going to have question 1 as hot news.
Yeah. I'm going to try and give good something like that. The price of energy is on the rise in a major European country right at this minute. Anybody got any ideas why?
Well, how would I know if it's this minute?
I
I'm sitting in
don't
a
know.
bloody Zoom meeting.
Jeff, you got to get with it. Got to get yourself to the bar. Germany, no. Oh, I thought you might have got this one.
Oh, in that case.
The reason being there's been a major fire in a connection across the channel to France.
Oh, right. I didn't know anything about that, actually, mate. That's terrible, isn't it?
It's hot news.
That is hot. Hot news. Very good.
It's hot news. It's
Very
hot
good.
news. Sorry. Okay.
Okay, I get it. Took me a while.
Okay, Jeff, I'm taking your lead from last week. You got me with a few bounces last week. You caught me off guard, so I thought I'd get back in.
Cool.
Okay, a crypto spotlight. Which cryptocurrency is in a social experiment change, which is not finding the going easy.
Aren't they all?
Oh gosh. Okay,
No,
hold on a
not
second.
this one.
Which
This is not.
cryptocurrency is in a social-
This is quite an interesting one. It sort of carries on from last week. Oh, Lewis got there. It's again, it's current news. I'm a bit of a
goodness
current
me.
news junkie.
I don't like that, mate. Which crypto? I've been reading up. All right, I'm going to have to say.
I'm being.
Thank God there's only a couple of them to choose
Of course,
from. My
Jeff.
God.
Jeff, I can't make it easy. We're not going to win the Ashes, so I can't make it easy for
I'm going to go with.
you. No. Oh, interesting. It's the
Is that a cryptocurrency?
Yeah,
I don't even know.
it's the daddy of them all. It's under fire in El Salvador. It's not going.
Oh, okay.
It's not going according to plan. The people
He goes
on
had
the
a
streets
haircut.
running the machines and things. No, it's not. Not going quite well. But it's like it is the social change, because if they get it right, like we said last week, everybody's going to go and join in. Okay.
Do you know the really interesting thing about Bitcoin, and you know that the IMF have got a mandate to hold every country's currency. You know, that's how they're going to trade between them. So this means that the IMF are going to need to hold Bitcoin, which they are not going to be happy about.
No, it's probably why they don't. Probably why the battle's on.
The battle is well and truly on with that. Yeah, we'll see what happens there. Bitcoin, where's that today?
Okay, Tech Corner. This is a personal favourite of mine anyway. The amateurs sort of are living the dream in which developing industry.
Jeez, this is tough to that this week, John.
Yeah, you want to live with the shoulder, man. It won't rotate. Yeah, this is for me. This is something. Oh, gaming. Yeah, probably. But I've got NFT. No, I'm more of a romantic than that. Those two things are there. NFT and gaming. I think they're great, but this for me is like the dream. From when I was
that must be for you, then, John. It must be that.
That's if I'm in the band, Ash. Allegedly.
You got me. I like it.
I'm a Trekkie.
Oh.
This is for me was there's so much bad news around today, but these are all civilians. I mean, okay, they've got the Kachinga, but they're spending 3 days going around the Earth.
Would you do that?
Wow.
Would I do that? I would do that.
In a heartbeat, eh?
Somebody's got to pay it, because I haven't got the dough, but I would go.
Yes, there is a bit of an issue, isn't there?
Yeah, it's still the dough side, but it's
mine is I'm scared witless, but money's another one.
What would you rather do, Jeff? Face a Curtly Ambrose bouncer, or would you?
Depends on how much protective gear I had on, but
fair enough. If you got that on, you'd be fine.
Yeah, I'd be okay.
Okay, well, which 44-year-old record fell? If you name it a sport and the country that this record was held.
Oh. Goodness
44-year-old.
These are
hang on a minute. 44-year-old record.
It's 44 years old. It's a record. It's held by
76. No, 70.
No. This. Would you? Yeah. I don't know. It depends. I thought it was great. It's a record.
1977.
It's not a. Lewis is quick on the draw.
Oh, well done, Lewis.
Yes, that was what I was trying to remember that. But she was a qualifier. Yes.
Yeah, came from Virginia Wade was the last one. Last from the UK.
She was a Brit, right? Virginia Wade's a Brit.
Yeah.
Two Brits.
Yeah, sorry guys. I've gone from cryptic to too hard. Sorry.
It's okay, mate.
No, okay. That's okay.
There are lots of things we should be doing before placing that winning trade. What should probably be the first thing on your list, or at least near the top, to look at before you do it.
So tough. I don't know what direction you're going in.
The last 2 weeks, it has the chart definitely. But before I look at I've done all of that, and then I want to look at something else. It saved my bacon a couple of times this week and last week. Pending news, yes, I gotta give Jeff half a point, to be fair.
Well, it cost me money this week.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. All right. Yeah, I'll go with that.
Sorry. Yeah. Yeah. The reason the Forex Factory. Yes. I mean, I'm just getting the information from you guys. It has caught me out before, but this week it's been on my favour because I thought I'm not putting that trade in.
Yeah, that's brilliant.
I did it with a
Thank you, Paul.
Go, Paul P. Have we got a prize for Paul P?
Oh, okay, Jeff. Jeff should get this one. Which industry has just taken a dose of its own medicine?
Phew.
Oh, yeah, no, but this is especially if somebody like Lewis should definitely be getting this. He's in from this part of the world.
Goodness me.
Jeff might get it as well, but cryptic there. It does make a lot of money out of people. Again, I'm giving you.
I'll just guess.
It's sort of mining in a way. It's sort of mining in a way. Bang! Yes, they've lost. Yeah. The casino industry in Macau.
Oh.
Yeah.
Gee
taking
whiz.
a right. Bang! Lose yourself 13 billion in value. Which
if I had 13 billion and walked into a casino when I was 21, I would have lost the whole lot.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I just thought it was good. It's good for us for once.
That free scotch, that gets you every time.
To pull the strings.
I've left out the word currency there. Which major currency currently has the lowest interest rate?
Oh, I would have thought.
I had to look this up myself. Close.
Oh, is it not?
Close.
I might. This information could be wrong, and I always like to have something where I can get shot down.
The Swissy.
Of course. Yeah.
Oh, sorry guys. I'm either roasting people or getting shot at dawn.
No, that's a really good question, actually. You know, I mean, it's something that we should be aware of. The numbers from Switzerland are just cooling off a little bit as well. So I don't know how they're going to kind of start to raise themselves out if we have another bump in the road over the next 3 months.
Okay.
Well, we need to kick ourselves in the bum if we don't get that right. We didn't. So there you go.
Here we go. Which famous composer wrote this melody? If I had Lewis, I would be making a lot of money.
Now this I do know.
Yes, I thought a little rebound. And
it's close.
Yeah, nice. Close. Mozart. Yes, and we can get away. That's out of copyright.
Did I spell
That's out of
it
copyright?
right?
Yeah.
That's out of copyright, and most people know it as Twinkle Twinkle Little Star.
Yeah.
I reckon I need a point for spelling Tchaikovsky right.
The jury's out on that as well.
Oh, didn't I? I didn't think anyone would know.
Somewhere, I don't know. Very good, mate. Like that one. Well, I didn't love it. It was a bit hard.
I like it.
But
Lewis has gone for the right thing. Yeah, I do use it for teaching the alphabet to my English students, but it is Twinkle Twinkle Little Star, but it was written by Mozart.
Do you know what, John? I mean, if you can have a little burst of something like that with, that asks a musical question, then that'd be a lovely addition to the last question of the show. I like that, of the quiz.
Well,
I like it.
I've just gone back to my class days of teaching music industry. I used to do BTEC back in the UK.
Yeah.
And as long as it's not copyright, you're fine.
Yeah. Just looking for that, isn't it?
Yeah.
Okay, mate. Well, you're bang on the hour, which is absolutely brilliant. Let's talk. Let's wrap it up anyway.
And I think I got 2 right. Excellent.
I got 1 right.
My apologies, Paul. Yeah, I thought it was easy, and the reason it was tough, I just got back from therapy, and I had 45 minutes to do it.
Actually, do we have a winner?
I wasn't thinking about anybody, so I wanted to still be able to answer that. I was giving it tough.
I don't know if we got a winner. So Jeff's got 2. Has anybody beaten 2?
Do you know what? I think it's far better, John, that you ask us questions that we don't know the answer to, because then we learn, right?
Yeah, that's very true. That is very true. Rather than showing off of the stuff that we do know. Who's got better than 3? Anybody got more than 3? If nobody's got more than 3, I think you might have won this week, Jeff.
I can't remember the right
Lewis got
two. Don't get
2.
right.
Lewis
Yeah, Lewis wins. I think I got 1.5, didn't I? John only gave me a half. He only gave me a half for pending news.
I was being mean because
All right, so Lewis, we only got 1. Geez, we did bad this week. Swee's normally the clever one in the group, and we've only got, I got 1. Swee got 1. Lewis got 2. You got 1.5 then, did you, Jeff? So Lewis is the winner this week. Okay. Lewis is the winner. Well done, Lewis. You are this week's champion and the king of the quiz for a whole week. Let's. I didn't see Lloyd's answer. Did Lloyd not get involved? Is he gone?
He's cleaning up baby's bum.
Okay, so let's wrap it up, mate. We've got
no Nasdaq. You've got to.
I've got to do the Nasdaq. Yeah. I hadn't forgotten that. That's okay. Let's look at that then. Right, we'll analyze it technically, because the Nasdaq's been very, very much in the news recently because of Apple having a little bit of a sink. So now the first thing we should do is check. Well, in fact, let's check the Nasdaq first, and then we'll come to all the other bits and pieces. So US tech, should we check it there, or let's check the futures? And we'll check it up here. All the US markets have been. Now, the first thing to note is that the US markets are kind of overvalued, and it's just a situation of what is going to tip the balance in the opposite direction for some of these, because they're likely to come down. And you can, if you look at this chart, there's an obvious level here. Look at this tiny little trend line here that it's managed to hold. So there's no mystery in why that bounced at that particular point. And the question is, does it go up from here, or does it start coming down? These are overvalued. You know, the stock market is generally overvalued. We're probably heading into a particular time of the year when it gets a little bit stuck. What probably needs to happen is a bit of a pullback, and then a point where the news and earnings are still coming out and they're still being relatively positive, you know, from the Nasdaq and everything else. The big kind of question for a lot of people in the States is what they should now do. Should they be looking at the cyclicals, or should they still be looking at growth? I know Microsoft raised their dividend yesterday, but I don't know if it was like 11%. I don't know if I heard that wrong, but 11% was definitely spotted in there. So the tech companies are still doing well enough. There's no suggestion that the tech industry is slowing down.
Is it fair to say? Sorry to interrupt. Is it fair to say that there's only 2 or 3 big players, Microsoft, Apple, that are really doing well, and then there's a big drop?
Well, to a degree, mate, but you're right in as much that Amazon, Apple, Microsoft, probably Tesla might well squeeze in there, and there's a few others that you sort of like. They are the weighted one. They're the ones that are going to drive the Nasdaq. So if we're talking about the Nasdaq, even though what you're saying may well have some validity, in a way with the Nasdaq, they don't matter, because they're not the ones that are going to drive our decision of whether we trade the indices, because the indices really kind of held and made up by the majority of the move is made up by the kind of big 10, if you like.
Okay, so my point was, if the likes of Apple, Microsoft, and Amazon start to tank, then the Nasdaq have been deep SH12 pretty quickly.
Exactly. Yeah, that's when it starts to come down. But I just don't see the Nasdaq in too much trouble. Generally speaking, I think that if anything, if the Nasdaq's going to do anything, it's possible that it kind of goes from this point back down to the trend line and meets a confluence area here. So there's a chance the Nasdaq does dip. But that's not significant enough to kind of think that we shouldn't still be looking at the longs in the Nasdaq in the medium term. In the short term, I think there's a decent chance that we are going to be coming down. I think the market is stuck a little bit. We've seen what's happened in China. China is slowing down somewhat. There's questions about what's going to happen with the Fed. The key is going to be whether the Fed are likely to start doing something with tapering. And what's happened ever since they announced it is that the data hasn't come out and supported a taper. So if the data starts to turn around again, and if the economy is doing well, that will happen, then we're much more likely to see the NASDAQ move lower. I'm not comfortable. I wouldn't be comfortable about trading the NASDAQ long at this stage. By the same token, I don't think we're going to be crashing. So in the near term, I think NASDAQ shorts. That would be my preference. And there's every chance that you could say, rather than going NASDAQ short, let's do a spread trade and do NASDAQ short with an S&P long, because then if it's going to come down, the NASDAQ's likely to come down more than the S&P is. So you could do a spread trade on it. But generally speaking, I think that the safest way to play it would be to look for the NASDAQ long when it comes down, rather than anticipating that it does come down. It's been a tough one to trade short, mate. This is the thing with the NASDAQ and this stuff, is that overall this is going to continue higher, and it's been a tough one to kind of to pick when it's going to turn. Inevitably it does, but when it does, it's always been kind of a safer play to go for the long.
Yeah, it's only been shallow, hasn't it, really?
It's always been, exactly, that's the thing. It's been shallow. It's a really good way to put it. So you're looking for a shallow retracement, and you could trade that. And that's what I would be looking for, a shallow retracement back down to the trend line here, and then looking for the long. Unless when it comes down, or the reason it comes down is because something has changed fundamentally with the dollar. And then we're starting to go, okay, well, what's going to drive the dollar? We look at the dollar index. What's going to drive the dollar higher? Unemployment numbers will help. That's probably the first thing that I'm looking for right now, the labor market in America. The labor market starts to improve sufficiently, dollar's likely to go higher with the anticipation of taper, and the NASDAQ and the S&P do come down a lot lower. But from what we've had recently, the inflation data out of America supported a dollar long. And with that supporting a dollar long, it would suggest, that the equities would drift down a little bit. If the dollar long gets a bit more extreme, then they're going to start coming down a bit harder, because they are overvalued and they probably don't match their earnings right now. But there's still nowhere else to put your money, which is why people will continue to go into equities.
Yep.
Possible change though. Possible change coming. So watch out for the dollar, and watch out for the VIX. Also, massive move a few days ago. Look at that move on the VIX a few days ago. People are buying protection. So it's showing us that people are nervous, but I don't think that they're so nervous that they're going to get rid of everything. I think they're just going to hedge out, buy at a slower pace, and that will create a little bit of downside, I think, with some of the equities. That would be my take on it.
Happy days. And I'm absolutely not qualified to comment too much, I've got to say, Dale, but I hope that helps with your deliberations around the NASDAQ at the moment. And thank you for the question. Keep them coming.
Yeah. Thank you, buddy.
Right, mate. Thank you, and thank all. Thank you, Marlon, for looking after us today. And I hope that Angel is feeling much better very, very soon. But if she's away for a period of time, then we'll look forward to having you back. John, as always, thanks for the quiz, mate. Lewis and all, Paul P, and those who asked questions and those who participated in the quiz. Thank you very much for that. Thanks for the week. And Ash, my good trading buddy, we'll catch up with you on Monday.
Yeah, great stuff, mate. Yeah, and Agnes, welcome aboard. And Mexin as well, welcome aboard. Really good to have you in. And we will see you all on Monday. Have a fabulous weekend, guys. We're obviously not in tomorrow. Tomorrow is not our Trading Buddies show. So have an amazing weekend. We'll see you next week. Have a good one, buddy. I'll see you next Monday too. And of course, thank you for Marlon for looking after us. It's good to have somebody else as well that steps in. But our best wishes to Angel if you're in contact with her. And we will see you next week.
Thank you, mate. And to all our trading buddies, have a wonderful weekend. Bye-bye for now.